everyone and welcome back to IamTechnos. In today's video, we will explore Amazon SageMaker ground truth with a hands-on demo where we will see how it helps us label images and prepare datasets for machine learning models. Let's start with a simple real-world situation. Imagine you're building an AI system that can identify cats and dogs in images. To train that model, you need thousands of images, but not just images, you need images that are properly labeled. For example, this image is cat. This image is dog, or this image is car. Now imagine doing this for millions of images. Someone has to manually label them. Even worse, for computer vision tasks, you may need to draw a bounding boxes around objects. So labeling data becomes time consuming, expensive and error prone. This is very common problem in machine learning projects, and that is exactly where Amazon SageMaker ground truth helps. Amazon SageMaker ground truth is an AWS service that helps you create labeled datasets for machine learning efficiently and at scale. In simple terms, it helps you organize and manage the process of labeling training data. For example, labeling tasks may include labeling images, labeling videos, labeling text, and labeling audio. But an important thing to understand is that the labeling itself is usually done by humans. The Amazon SageMaker ground truth provides a managed environment and tools that make this process easier and more organized. The service provides built-in labeling interfaces that workers use to label data, human workforce options such as your own team, third-party vendors, or Amazon Mechanical Turk. Optional machine learning assistant that can help reduce the amount of manual work for very large data sets. So instead of managing your own labeling system, managing workers, and organizing datasets manually, SageMaker ground truth provides a managed workflow that allows humans to label data efficiently while AWS handles the infrastructure and tools. Now let's understand why this service is needed. In machine learning, there is a famous saying, better data beats better algorithms. Even the best ML model will fail if the training data is poorly labeled. Without proper labeling, object detection models cannot identify objects, NLP models cannot understand sentiment, and speech models cannot recognize words. But labeling data manually has problems. It takes a lot of time, it requires many people, and quality can be inconsistent. So Amazon SageMaker ground truth solves this by labeling workflows using human labelers and using machine learning to assist labeling. So this reduces time and cost significantly. Now let's understand how Amazon SageMaker ground truth works at a high level. First, you upload your raw data to Amazon S3 bucket. This data can be in different formats such as images, text, videos, or even audio files. Basically, any type of data that you want to label for machine learning is first stored in Amazon S3. Next, you create a labeling job in Amazon SageMaker ground truth. A labeling job defines what data needs to be labeled and what type of labeling task needs to be performed. After that, you choose the labeling workforce that will perform the labeling. AWS provides different options for this, such as private workforce, a vendor workforce, or Amazon Mechanical Turk. Once the workforce is selected, the labelers start labeling the data using built-in labeling tools provided by Amazon SageMaker ground truth. For example, they can classify images, draw bounding boxes, or annotate text depending on the task. Finally, once the labeling is complete, the labeled dataset is saved back to Amazon S3. This labeled data can then be used to train machine learning models in Amazon SageMaker. So in simple terms, SageMaker ground truth helps automate and manage the entire data labeling workflow for machine learning. Before we start with the hands-on demonstration, let's first look at the dataset we will use. For this example, I have prepared a small dataset containing 6 images. 3 images contain cats and 3 images contain dogs. In a real machine learning project, we usually work with thousands or even millions of images. But for demonstration purposes, we will use a small dataset so that we can clearly understand how Amazon SageMaker ground truth works. Right now, these images are just raw data. The machine learning model cannot understand what these images contain. To train a model, we first need to label the images, meaning we must tell the system whether the image contains a cat or a dog. Now let's start the hands-on demonstration and start by creating an S3 bucket. I'm currently in the AWS Management Console working in North Virginia region, which is US East 1. You can choose any region, but make sure you stay in the same region throughout the demo. First, in the search bar, type S3 and select it from the results. Once you're on the S3 dashboard, click on Create a Bucket. Now give the bucket a name. For example, I will name it as SageMaker, Ground Truth, Demo Dataset. Since the bucket name must be globally unique, I'll add few numbers at the end. Scroll down and click Create a Bucket. Now select the bucket we just created. Click Create a Folder and give the folder name as Images. Scroll down and click Create a Folder. Now open the Images folder and drag and drop all the images files that we discussed earlier. These are the raw images that need labeling. As you can see, I have named the images clearly. The dog images are named as dog1, dog2, dog3, and the cat images are named as cat1, cat2 and cat3. Now scroll down and click Upload. You can see the upload progress status, and once the upload is complete, close that window. Next, we need to create something called a manifest file. Create a new file and name it as manifest.json. To build this file, go back to your S3 images folder, select an image and copy its S3 URI. Now paste that URI inside the manifest file and repeat this for all the images. So the manifest file will contain the S3 path of all the images that need labeling. This step is very important because SageMaker Ground Truth does not directly read a folder of images. Instead, it reads the manifest file which lists all the dataset items that need labeling. So in simple terms, manifest file is a JSON file where each entry represents one image that needs labeling. So once the manifest file is ready, save it and upload it into the same images folder in the S3 bucket. So scroll down and click Upload. So along with the images, you must have the manifest file as well. Now that the dataset is ready, open a new tab. In the search bar, type SageMaker AI and select it from the results. In the left navigation panel, under Ground Truth, click Labeling Jobs. Then click Create Labeling Job. Now give your labeling job a name, for example, a cats dogs labeling demo. Next, choose automated data setup. Then provide the input dataset location, which is the S3 path where your dataset objects are stored. So to do that, go to the S3 bucket, select the manifest.json file, copy the S3 URI and paste it here. Okay, so Ground Truth will use all the objects listed in this location for the labeling job. Now we need to specify the output dataset location. So go back to S3, open your bucket, create another folder called output. Okay, so scroll down and click Create a Folder. Now open the output folder and copy the S3 URI from the right side. Return to the Ground Truth and paste this URI in the output dataset location field. Since we are working with images, select the data type as image and under IAM role, select Create a New Role and choose any S3 bucket, then click Create. So this role allows the SageMaker Ground Truth to access your dataset stored in S3. Now we move to the task type. Since our dataset contains images, select Image as task category. Here you will see several task options. For our demo, we will select the image classification single label. We choose this because each image has only one correct label, either cat or dog. So the worker will simply select one label for each image. If an image could contain multiple categories, then we would use multi-label classification. Other options include bounding box for object detection, semantic segmentation for pixel level labeling, and label verification for checking existing labels. But for this demo, we will keep it simple and use the single label classification. So scroll down and click next. Now let's talk about the worker types. In the workers and tool configuration section, we need to define who will perform the labeling. AWS provides three types of workforce options. The first option is Amazon Mechanical Turk. This is a public marketplace where thousands of workers can perform small tasks such as labeling images or annotating data. It is useful when you need to label large datasets quickly. The second option is private workforce. Here, the labeling is done by your own employees or team members. This option is commonly used when the data is sensitive or confidential. The third option is vendor workforce. These are the professional third-party labeling companies that provide trained annotators for complex labeling tasks. So depending on your data sensitivity, dataset size and labeling complexity, you can choose the workforce that fits your needs. So for this demo, I'll choose private workforce. Now give your team a name, for example, labeling team. Next, under invite private annotators, you need to enter the email address of the people who will perform the labeling. AWS will send them an email invitation to access the labeling portal. For this demo, I'll simply invite myself by entering my email address. Next, we configure task settings. Task timeout defines how long a worker can take to complete a single labeling task. I'll keep it as 1 hour. And task expiration time defines how long the task will remain available for workers. So I'll keep it as 10 days. You can also enter your organization name and contact email address which workers can use if they have any questions. So I'll keep the organization name as I am Technos, and for the contact email, I will use the same email address as before. I'm hiding the email addresses for private reasons. You can give your own email addresses. Okay. Next, we have the option for automated data labeling. SageMaker can automatically label some data using machine learning models. However, this requires additional compute resources and increases cost. So for this demo, we will keep this option disabled and perform manual labeling. Now, we will provide instructions for the workers. In the task description, you can write something like select whether the image contains a cat or a dog. So these instructions will be visible to the workers while they perform the labeling task. Next, we define the labels. Add the first label as cat and the second label as dog. You can also provide good and bad examples to guide the labelers. For instance, a good example would be correctly identifying a cat image as cat. A bad example would be labeling a dog image as cat. So providing these examples helps improve labeling accuracy. Once everything is configured, click create. And that's it. Your SageMaker ground truth labeling job is now created. Now in the next step, the workers will receive the labeling tasks and start labeling the images. Now within a few minutes, you will receive an email invitation from the organization, in this case I am Technos, asking you to participate in the labeling project. So open that mail. For privacy reasons, I am only showing a screenshot of the email. Inside the email, you will see your username and a temporary password. Now click on the link provided in the email. It will take you to the labeling portal. Enter your username, which is your email address, and paste the temporary password and click on sign in. Once you log in, the system will ask you to create a new permanent password. So set a new password and you will be taken to the labeling jobs page. Here you will see the job that we created earlier. The job title will display the task description. Select whether the image contains a cat or a dog. Now select the job and click start working. Now you will see the labeling interface. The image is loaded directly from the S3 bucket, and at the top you will see the task time which we set to 1 hour. You will also see other options where you can decline the task, release it so that another worker can perform it, or skip the task and move to the next one. You can also stop and resume later if needed. Now let's complete the labeling task. Here you can see the image. Since this image contains a dog, I will select a dog and then click submit. then the next image will appear. So since we uploaded 6 images, you will see 6 tasks in total. Okay, for each image, simply select the correct label, cat or dog, and then submit it. Continue labeling each image one by one. Once you finish all the images, you will no longer see any tasks on the page because all tasks have been completed. At this point, you can simply log out or close the window. Now let's go back to the AWS console. Open SageMaker Ground Truth and go to Labeling Jobs. You will see the job status still showing as in progress, but it will update shortly once the results are processed. Since we have labeled all the images, the results will now be stored in the S3 output location that we configured earlier. So go back to your S3 bucket and open the output folder. Okay. Now inside the folder, open the labeling job folder. Navigate to the annotations, not annotation tool, it's annotations. Inside the annotations folder, open consolidated annotation and open consolidation request folder, and then the iteration folder. You will see a consolidated annotation JSON file. Select it, download and open it. Now you will see the labeled results. Since we uploaded 6 images, you will see 6 records in the JSON file. Each record contains the S3 URI of the image, the label assigned to the image, and the worker ID who performed the labeling. For example, for a dog image, the label is recorded as dog, and for the cat image, the label is recorded as cat. This is very much same for all the records, as you can see. Dog for dog, cat for cat. So this file represents the final labeled dataset which can now be used to train a machine learning model. You can also explore other files in the output folder. So this is how Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth helps organize and manage the data labeling process efficiently. So instead of manually managing datasets and labels, Ground Truth provides a structured workflow for labeling large dataset. Now let's perform a quick cleanup. Now go back to the labeling jobs. You will notice the labeling jobs cannot be deleted. They can be cloned, chained or stopped. Okay. However, once the job is complete, it doesn't incur any compute cost. So it is safe to leave it as it is. However, please wait for the status to complete by the end of the cleanup. Now under labeling datasets, you will see the S3 input and output files. You can explore them if you think it's needed. Next, we should clean up the workforce resources. So go to the labeling workforces, select the private workforce. Here you will see the team we created earlier. To delete the workforce, we first need to remove the workers. So go to the workers, select the worker and disable it. Once the worker is disabled, you will have an option to delete it and confirm the deletion. After deleting the workers, delete the team. Finally, delete the workforce itself. So this ensures that all the workforce resources created for the demo are removed. Now the labeling job is in complete state. Now go back to S3, open the bucket, select all the objects and click on delete. Give the necessary prompt and select delete objects. Once the objects are deleted, you can simply copy the bucket name, go to buckets, select the bucket and click on delete. Give the bucket name and confirm the deletion. And that's it for this demo. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and happy learning.